So first of all, from what I understand, you guys have only started gigging in the last month or so, right?
The last
week, 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were, live streaming, I guess, right before that, through lockdown and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we kind of only formed just before COVID kicked off, and we just kind of were trying to do everything and anything we could to kind of build an audience and just entertain people and just keep going really as a band. But for a lot of that time, we had an incomplete lineup. So Ollie joined us at the end of last year or the start of this year, and we had a mate filling in on drums for a long time. But our lineup has only really been like complete in the last.
It's been like 5 weeks.
Yeah. So it was nice to finally get stage.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I assume you didn't really have anything planned before lockdown then. Did you form like after lockdown had started, or were you kind of just starting to get going and you booked some stuff in and it had to be rearranged? Or
so we didn't have anything booked before COVID kicked off. We'd recorded our first 2 singles, which was probably a bit of a lifesaver because it meant that we had some like music to release whilst the world was shut. It's just been a really, really weird time to try and start.
I can imagine. I'm curious to kind of ask if you think it's helped really at all. Like, obviously you've managed to jump straight into a more kind of home-based thing, whereas a lot of other bands have really struggled to get into the groove of, oh, we can't gig anymore, like what do we do? Do you think it's kind of helped you guys to start as lockdown started and gain that momentum that way?
I'm happy to take this, Ollie, because I know I was
so I wasn't really there for that bit. So
I think if COVID never kicked off, I don't think we would have done anywhere near as much stuff on social media. And I think it kind of gave us the opportunity to engage a lot of people who probably didn't have a lot else going on at the time because everything had stopped, which was nice. Although it was a horrible situation to be in for everyone. And I just think we wouldn't have done as much. So I think having to do that route and having the ability to record and make videos ourselves was really useful, because I think if we didn't have that skill set, we would have been a bit stuck. And I think three of the 3 singles we've released this year, or the 2 that we've released and one that's coming out soon, we all record individually from our own homes.
Cool.
So having the like technology to do it has been
awesome. To kind of send it all across to each other and add their own bit kind of thing.
I think I'd say, just to kind of add on to that, would be like, I think it really helped regarding the social media thing, because when you start a band, it's like you just go all in and you have to just learn how everything works really quickly, like live side, online side. I think the fact that we couldn't, like, there was an entire segment that we couldn't do allowed us to focus on getting the online presence.
Definitely.
Right. So like, we could spend more time figuring out what worked and not having to think, oh, well, we can't do that because we need to be we need to be recording, we need to be gigging, we need to be doing this. It was like, you can actually focus more energy on that. And now gigs have come back. It means we can sort of keep the formula that's been sort of tweaked and worked on for the last year or so, nearly 2 years,
definitely.
and just kind of just keep adding to it and keep tweaking, but the base is already there, and we're just building on something that we've created over the last sort of 18 months, 2 years.
And we had, so one of the things we can't wait to do is just to meet a lot of the people that have been supporting us online, actually meet them in person. And the first gig we had in Leicester about 10 days ago, there was a guy there that we didn't know he was coming. But he was like, oh, I've been following you guys on social media, you're awesome. And he came to see us, which
that's great.
Amazing. Really nice.
So I guess pretty much, well, you've obviously put out a couple of singles this year, were they written during lockdown as well then?
We Breathe the Same was written just before COVID kicked off, and it was kind of unlucky to not make the initial 4-track EP, but we thought it would be a good one to have.
Yeah.
But Bitter Pill, which we released in July, and Rise, which is coming out next month, they were both lockdowny songs.
I assume it was quite a different writing process then, obviously, with not being able to meet up and stuff like that, or was it, did you kind of do stuff by video like this, or?
I say it was frustrating. So like quite often, like, I'll just spit out like an idea, and it will be anywhere kind of between 50 and probably 95% the way done, but trying to do that remaining percent from a distance was so difficult, and like trying to drop like ideas into WhatsApp groups and collate feedback and try and gauge things from stuff. Yeah, it's really, really difficult.
Yeah,
so
it's like
back in the room writing.
You have to like go back and forth, and it's just literally a case of a conversation that would take 5 minutes in a room takes 5 days because of people like replying and missing a message, just stuff like that. Like, it just extends the process when it's done through message and email, and so definitely.
And you want to be really considerate of like everyone's ideas and feelings. And I think one of the things that would happen is like we might make suggestions, and it's nice to see those ideas out to then kind of, oh, okay, it works or it doesn't. But doing that remotely and not in real time is really frustrating. Like Ollie said, like in a room, you could do that. You can wiggle a few things around on logic and go, oh yeah, cool, it's done. But yeah, it just prolongs it. So it's going to be so. We have had a couple of writing sessions since the world's opened up again, which is really nice.
Yeah, good. And
definitely look forward to many more of those.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what the whatever is next. There's some of the tracks that we're working on at the moment. I'm really excited for.
Oh, nice. So you said you got kind of 3 singles this year. Are all 3 of them ending up on the extended EP kind of re-release, or?
Yeah, so essentially the extended re-release of the EP is the initial EP, Chaos and Light, and then We Breathe the Same, which came out earlier this year alongside Bitter Pill, and sort of it's rounded off. Well, the online version is rounded off by Rise, which hasn't been released yet, and it sort of, I think it kind of sends off the Chaos and Light era of Neptune Rain. It kind of signs it off, says, here we go, this is cool. But the physical versions have a couple of extra little demos on there as well, which are also really cool. Yeah, I think it's just kind of, the extended edition is kind of a, how to describe it? I don't want to say swan song for Chaos and Light, but it's like a, here it is in its intended final format. This is the message we wanted to put across. And I think it does an incredible job of doing that, personally.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, because I was going to actually ask, like, is there a overarching theme for the EP, or is it more kind of, does each song have a different message, or?
I think most of the songs are about difficulties, and whether that's kind of relationship difficulties or kind of mental health difficulties. And like some of them, like Bitter Pill, The Weight of Giving Up, or Pain No Gain, are all really, really quite dark, and they kind of come from a place of sort of living with depression. But Rise is the most hopeful, and there's always been like a sprinkling of hope in songs, but I think the Chaos and Light represents that kind of the internal sort of darkness and the light and the hope. So Rise is like the hopeful ending of it, and it felt kind of right to release it as one body of work, because we never had that chance to tour or gig the initial to actually kind of go, well, actually, do you know what, here's a body of work that was all kind of written either just before or during COVID, very chaotic, with a little bit of hope in it. So yeah, so it feels like, I mean, like we think it's a nice way to finish it, and a strong way to
kind of, it just shows the journey, doesn't it? It goes through the struggle, and then at the end it kind of shows that story of hope.
Yeah, I was going to say, it almost sounds a bit concept album-y, really.
Yeah, I guess
in a sense, yeah.
I think the darkness and the hope were always there, and I guess circumstances have helped shape it together. So yeah, so we just hope people like the whole thing.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure they will.
So Ollie was saying there's physical copies, so there's CDs and there's cassettes, and because the two sides of the cassettes aren't balanced, on the cassettes there is a bonus track of Ollie just being Ollie.
Talking absolute rubbish for about 3 minutes.
just to keep the just to fill up that side of the tape.
Oh, okay.
I will say, like, I don't think I've told anyone this. I think this is the first time I've actually like said to anyone, I didn't script any of it. When I recorded it, I just, like, the mic is just over there. I can see it. I just stood in my room with a microphone, pressed record, and just talked. There was no structure to what I was going to say. I just pressed record and went, right, here we go. And then sort of edited a couple of bits, and there's a little bit of a thing at the end of it as well, which I won't talk about. It's one of those things that if you want to hear it, you've got to get one. But yeah, like, I just threw it all together and just sort of laughed at myself for about 5 minutes and sent it to the guys, and they went, this is just do it.
That's like 3 minutes of chaos.
I am the chaos in Chaos and Light.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get one then now.
Yeah, so there's only 20 of them.
Oh wow,
there's only 20, and if like it's not on the 20, then it won't be heard again.
Nice. So outside of kind of mad ramblings, then, how would you describe your sound to anyone who's, unfamiliar with your work?
I think big drums and guitars and synths, sung and rapped vocals, big choruses, hopefully.
Big and catchy. I think that's what we aim for, is just getting something that'll stick in your head, but kind of appeals to people that like the alternative side of things. But if people like a poppier side of things, then they're not going to be too scared of it, because sometimes people who like the poppier side of things can get a little bit scared of this sort of genre. So we kind of want to entice them in a little bit, convert them a little bit, and get them to enjoy it. I think that's what it's all about. We're all about sort of having some really catchy parts, some really nice choruses, and just nicely well written songs. But there's sort of like the fun element in each of the songs in the structure as well.
Oh, nice. So if you could collab with one artist, whether it's a kind of big festival headliner or a smaller kind of local band, any ideas?
Oh, that's a question and a half. I mean, personally, I am a big Beartooth fan. I love Beartooth with all my heart, and if I was given the opportunity to collaborate with Caleb from Beartooth, I would absolutely jump at the chance. I think he's insane.
I think my go-to band is always Linkin Park. Just such a massive influence growing up and on my musical tastes and stuff. And if Chester was still here, I'd love to have worked with a dude. But the whole band are just sick. And then I think we've got a few like favorite local bands as well, like smaller a smaller
Yeah.
band.
Yeah, some like bands that we're sort of kind of getting a bit friendly with, and hopefully we get the opportunity to work with them. That'd be really cool if we could do that. Like we played with Thousand Thoughts in Shoreditch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the other night, and they, if anyone doesn't know who Thousand Thoughts are, they need to like open up Apple Music or Spotify or whatever you've got and go and listen to Thousand Thoughts, because they smashed it, and they're brilliant.
Oh, nice. So it's just kind of a last thing then. Have you guys got anything else to plug? Like, you're doing a wider tour next year or anything like that?
We've got a few more dates coming up this year. So we're in Camden on the 5th of November. We are in Worcester on the 12th of November.
Yep.
Birmingham on the 14th of November.
Yep.
Cheltenham, home gig on the 19th of November. And we've got a charity gig in Southampton on the 4th of December, which is acoustic. So that'll be a new one for us.
Oh, nice.
That's our first acoustic set, yeah.
So yeah,
it'd be fun.
Yeah, and there's a few dates coming in for next year, but it's the ones this year. We're just trying to encourage everyone to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, but it's that kind of thing of if you want to know all about that stuff, like we've got a mailing list. We're all over social media, as we kind of mentioned earlier. We're all over social media. Everything gets put on there. It's just kind of if you want to know more about where we are, when we're going to be there, what we're doing. It's all about social media. Like, come and find us on Facebook and Instagram. Sign up to the mailing list and all that sort of stuff. That's kind of, I think, the biggest plug is if you do want to know what we do, come and find us online and watch the insanity unfold as we try and like guide our way through this insane journey that we're going on.
Sounds good.
It's fun. At the very least, it's fun, and it's been so nice to just get on a stage again. And I think had it denied us for so kind of long. Yeah, it doesn't matter what happens. Difficult, like, you know what? We're just so happy to be there, and hopefully the trajectory is up, and it's just we continue to enjoy the journey, and people enjoy what we do.
I mean, I've ended up off the stage on 2 gigs of the 3 so far. So that's because I threw my guitar in Shoreditch. To which Kieran looked at me as like, "Oh my god, what's he doing?" The look on everyone's face when I did it was like, "Oh no,
what's happening?"
Awesome.
Yeah, I've had nights like this, so many days like that, but I've never been crazed, never been